Hello, everyone. Welcome to another HORRORific review. Right, before we begin, I might have to jump off this because I'm waiting for a flipping grocery delivery and fuckers haven't turned up. So I'm a bit annoyed because I could have started this at the normal time because I was waiting for it to slap bang right in the middle of when this is meant to start. Life. Anyway, fun and games. This is going to be a happier. Oh, God, here we go. Here we go. Buzz, buzz. No, something else. Oh, it's just telling me I'm live, which I know because I'm here. Anyway, right. Also, I'm watching a game for Monkey Tales, which I'm starting to get into that as well. So it's like, it's not going right tonight. I wish I had done this stream last night because this is far superior movie. Last night put me in a bad mood because, what a shit movie. But Friday the 13th, happy Friday the 13th, people. It looks like I'm getting my wee spot of bad luck. I normally have pretty good Friday the 13th when they come around, but here we are. The Return of the Living Dead. Absolute classic. I should have called up what the story was. So there's a bit of story between O'Bannon and Romero. So if you don't know the original Night of the Living Dead series, that was Romero's the lead, but then him and Dan O'Bannon have been like, collaborating on loads of stuff. And O'Bannon wanted to make more sort of comedic videos or movies, and Romero wanted to stick with his sort of style. And because the two of them are friends, work together, they didn't want to butt heads over it and they didn't want to fall out. So this is where the Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Dead series came about. And then O'Bannon decided to call his The Living Dead. And that gave him the opportunity to slant more in the comedic direction and didn't take away from Romero's vision. So, once again, the 80s are just a better time. even in the cutthroat world of entertainment, people people formed friendships and had each other's backs and didn't step on each other's toes. It's funny how this whole, I think it was more sort of the yuppie period and all. It was like, oh, cutthroat business, yet you've seen more humanity than you do today. Just my opinion of, looking back at all this stuff. Yeah, there's absolutely disasters too, but yeah, it's good to see that even people with like egos still find time to put that aside and appreciate their art. But what can you say about this movie? Oh my god. First of all, the soundtrack, right? The theme tune and the soundtrack has to be one of the best comedy horror, if not horror soundtracks, like absolute golden. You just know you're in for ridiculousness and fun, yet there's horror in this. There's no messing about with this movie. So yes, you have like throwaway lines, you have a comedic sort of theme tune to it. You have sort of daft characters, but yet you felt invested in them. And you don't have these wooden plank characters that you're like, no, can't wait to like it up off, if that makes sense. You have people in a crazy situation, and you kind of got that feeling through it. So you got like ordinary folks. So if you're not, I'm probably preaching to the converted here, or talking about, but if you're not familiar with the storyline, it's basically you've got a medical supply warehouse. You've got Freddy. He's like the young character. He's just taken on a new job, and you've got Frank's like showing him the ropes, so to speak. The essentially they're sending out supplies to universities, places of study, all that kind of thing. And we're starting off, and he's taking them through the skeletons and the categorization system for the skeletons that they send out the research hospitals. So much fun. And Frank's like, he's worked here since a year dot. He knows the place inside out, and he's just showing the ropes, and he's a bit, he's somebody that just loves his job. And I miss that aspect of, people find their little nicks in life, their little niches. It's not all about being the CEO of a multinational company. It's like, I've got a job. I'm happy. I'm invested in what I'm doing. And I'm having fun with it. Where's that all going? Did everybody's so freaking miserable? And it's hard work. Oh, hey, Chris. Happy Friday the 13th to you. It would have been rude not to have done a stream. I tried to get people to come on this, but everyone's obviously doing their own things. Sadly, yeah, I was going to get like a few people just to come on and talk about this and do a bit of riffing, but say la vie, you're stuck with 2 nights with just me now, so be it. But yeah, so it just starts off innocently enough. Freddy's getting shown through the ropes, and he's fascinated with the skeletons. Then, lo and behold, they've actually got human cadavers as well, so people donate their bodies as sand. So he shows them the fridge, and there's one hung up, and it's like, yeah, but this is a quiet period. It gets busy, and he's just making the sort of thing about, yeah, we can't have too many in because we want them to stay fresh, and we don't want to run out either. And talk about the whole balancing act of supply chain, the whole supply chain industry, which I'm part of. So I appreciate it. It's that whole thing. Warehouse people have this idea of warehouses that are meant to be chock full of every shelf. It's the same as places that do food, I think, because there's freezers that have to be just fill them up. And it's like, no, it's all about movement, not storing things. But yeah, it's the eternal argument, and it's the game that's always played. But just him talking about it, gives it a sense of realism to this, and that's what I've always talked about with horror movies or any sort of fantasy. If you have that grounding in realism, that you're dealing with real life situations, real characters, and you have that to hold on to, then when the ridiculous and the insanity happens, it can be viewed as ridiculous insanity because it's like, this shouldn't be happening. A lot of people forget that, and they don't start off with those building blocks, and then you've nothing to hold on to, so you just kind of, it's like bringing up that tension. I think we talked about in movies that if you keep it up here all the time, then you become desensitized. Where if you bring it up, bring it down, bring it up, it's a bit of a roller coaster. Yeah, people invested in the plot. But yeah, he's going through all the ropes, nothing happening. Nema made his friends, his girlfriend Tina, you have Spider, Trash, Chuck, Casey, Scuzz, and Suicide. Like, it's a typical 80s group. Couple of punk rockers, you've sort of others with the big shoulder pads and stuff, just a random group of people. Tina's the strange one, she's the odd one out. Doesn't look as if she fits in with the group, if that makes sense. It's a bit of an oddball one, her, but at the same time, they're a group of friends. Well, they're not all the same cut from the same cloth. So that's cool. It just shows you can have a group of friends that varied interests. I think Spider's a pure punk. He makes a comment about it's a lifestyle, not the costume and stuff, and he's like proper deep into it and that. But everyone else is in the same varying degrees. Trash maybe to a point, but the rest are sort of various interests, but they've got a friendship there, so that's cool. It seems to be, it's funny how friendships form and groups get together. That's it. So they're looking for something to do in the weekend, and Tina says, "We'll go wait for Freddy to finish work." So that sort of plot line happens to bring them into it, but it's a bit in the warehouse where Frank's like, "Do you want to see something really cool?" And he shows them the barrels that had accidentally got dropped off by the army because somebody in the supply chain messed it up. We also get cut off to this scene with a colonel, a high up colonel has got this equipment set up in his home. And essentially, he's a lieutenant colonel. He's not a full bird colonel, he's a lieutenant colonel, but still he's like high up in operations. And then he's on watch every night because they're looking for these barrels. So you're getting this all. It's actually very cleverly done because when you see that scene in the corner, what the hell's he? What are they bringing him in there for? And then realize that he's looking for these barrels which are sitting in this warehouse. Because Frank takes Freddy down, and it's like, oh, here, look at this. These got dropped off one day, and we don't know what the hell to do with them. It's like, why didn't you ring that number on the barrel? It's like, oh, you don't want the army around here, sort of thing. It's like, so they've sat there for like years. And this is where everything kicks off, because obviously he starts poking. He gets a thing that really got me was he gets the wipe the top of the glass. I've never seen this done in my life, apart from this movie. But you get a roll of like kitchen roll, and instead of taking a few sheets off and wiping, no, he just wipes it with the whole thing, and I'm like, oh, what are you doing that for? Such a waste. I don't know why that upsets me, but that's the only thing that upsets me in this movie, is why he does that. Like, why would you do that? Why didn't you just take the things off and a couple of sheets off and wipe? Why are you wasting the whole thing of paper, just a whole roll? Why did you do that, you lunatic? Oh, anyway, that's, that really annoyed me. Why did he do that? There's no reason. Like, the man's insane. But obviously, because he did that, he in a sect. I can't remember what it was. Freddy, they knock something and the thing explodes, essentially. The gas comes out of one of the containers. So this gas just, and those two get knocked out. At the same tone, we'll have Tina and all those guys. They're waiting, and they don't want to just wait outside the warehouse. It's funny how they want the party, but they don't bring party kit, and they don't have an idea of what they're doing. Just aiming as kids, I suppose. These are the mid-20s, early 30s teenagers, which the 80s movies are notorious for. But they see the cemetery across the road, and they're like, let's go hang out in there. Let's be edgy and hang out in the cemetery, sort of thing. And then we'll cut back to Frank and Freddy, and they're like waking up, go, what the hell happened? And they're sort of gathering their heads, and they're feeling awful, and that's when things start going crazy in the warehouse. So they go upstairs, are hearing noises, and the cadaver they've got in the fridge just comes alive. It's screaming and stuff, and I was showing them things throughout. So the thing he was showing them was half puppies, half dogs or something. So basically dogs have been sliced in half, and they're for veterinary school, so they can actually see the internal workings. Those things start coming to life and barking and stuff. It's actually pretty intense scene, especially with the sound effects. Because he starts beating the dog starts whelping. It's like a half dog. It's weird, but like I said, it's dark comedy. It's proper dark comedy. So I laugh at it. Other people mightn't. Just putting it out there. You know what my sense of humor is like. So you could be seeing all this stuff going, "Oh, you said it was funny," and freaking out. This is an oldie. Like, if you've watched zombie movies, you've got to have watched these. Like, I think there's 4 or 5 of them now. Definitely seen the first 2 or 3. I think the second one's like the follow-on events from this, but we'll not go into that. Because I don't want to spoil it if you haven't seen it, but like, just the ridiculousness of the situation, and then they hear the banging from inside. No, wait, they have to call the boss. Who's the boss? It's Bert. Bert's their boss. So Frank rings the boss. He's like, weird stuff's happening down here. We accidentally broke one of those containers. Like, I told you never to go near those things. So everyone in the warehouse knows about these containers. And it's one of those, I don't want to ring anybody. I don't want to bring this in my head. I don't want to leave them anywhere either. They look dangerous. What do I do? Shuffle, and then forget about them. And of course, because Frank's showing off because he's got a new employee, that's how to get open. You know the old hubris. You want to show off to the new staff. Oh, I'm super cool, me. So they call Bert, and he comes in, and he's like, what the hell's going on? And then he hears the banging, and then goes, right, well, open it up. And this is where the link there. That's why I've been the whole thing about Romero, because they make a link to Night of the Living Dead, because they're like, do you know how to do these things? Yeah, you bash your brains out. Saw it in the movie. They're making like tenuous links to Romero's movie, which is brilliant. They're just like, yeah, but that's what it says to do in the as if Romero is like creating a documentary on zombies, not a horror movie. Just taking it. I just think That was cool the way they did that. Yeah, the body comes charging out, and then this is where they deal it. So now they've got this body, and they start cutting it up. So they've now got a cut up body on the floor in bags that's still twitching. Because all the parts are still animated. So it went from you can picture this place just like 10 years ago. All right, we've got these cans rolled out, shovel them inside. Okay. We've got these bodies, what do we do? Just it reminds me of Dead Alive. Just right, I didn't know what to do with these things, so I just kept them in the basement and fed them. Sort of overwhelmed. You can almost get that, like you can see a reality. If anyone knows in work, there's people that the minute something goes out of their wheelhouse, they just freeze up and they don't know what to do. And unless the boss tells them what to do, they don't think for themselves, or their instincts just to brush it under the carpet. We all know those sort of people. It's not unique to have those reactions. So all this stuff started getting shunted on and escalating. You can understand. So they're like, we've got this body, it's still twitching, and what do we do? Well, my buddy owns or works, I don't know whether he owns it or runs it or what, but he's like the chief guy in the funeral parlor, which just happens to be linked to the cemetery because it's a crematorium, which makes sense. Most crematoriums are, in the grounds of a cemetery. So there we're getting all the links. To go across there, we've got cut back to Tina's group, and we'll get them all sort of hanging around as Amber and playing music and stuff, and them have Trash just decides to strip off because why not? It's the 80s. So she gets her kit off and starts dancing, and they're all like, "Yeah, Trash is getting her clothes off again." It's like as if it happens every weekend. Like, okay. Those characters, they should have been two-dimensional and cheesy, but considering some of the movies I've watched over the last year, they're actually fleshed out characters. And that's funny because for the 80s they're two-dimensional. But the more consider some of the serious movies I've watched with these wooden planks going about the place, these guys are cool. You get their sort of motivations, you get their relationships. You kind of get why they're friends and stuff. This is all played out. So it jumps to that and then goes back to who is it at the flipping cemetery? Ernie. Sorry, Ernie's the he's like a cemetery guy. So he's got his headphones on, like 80s Walkman sort of thing, and he's obviously preparing a body for burial and doing all the what do you call it? I was going to say taxidermy, but it's not that. Embalming. He's doing all the embalming stuff. And then they arrive and they try making up, right, we need to use your furnace. What have you got? Rabbit squirrels, because the bags are all twitching. So take them to the pound, or, call animal control. No, we can't with these. And then it's all that rigmarole of, I don't really want to tell you what's in the in the box, so to speak. And he's like, nah, I know, instantly getting suspicious. We've been friends for a long time, I'll owe you one. Then they revealed him. They open one of the bags and it's a human hand and starts grabbing at Ernie, and he's like, and it's all kind of relevant because it's all set up for the absolute chaos. I like the fact that they spend a good 20 odd minutes of this movie setting it all up and didn't just jump into it, which is cool. And we got who the characters were, so you had a wee bit of a stake in what's going on, and they gave the characters, there's a reason for them all coming together. They've got a link to each other. Meanwhile, you've got Freddie and Frank are looking bad. Like, they're looking really pale and they're ill, starting to fall ill because of the gas they're breathing. But they manage to get the body into the furnace, and this is what kicks everything off, because it's by burning the corpse and the smoke that up into the atmosphere and causing the rain. That's the catalyst for just the entire chaos that ensues. bit of a topical discussion, because if everybody remembers the acid rain that was supposed to wipe us all out, that was the cool thing of the day. You know, right now we're the earth's going to boil. Back then it was acid rain. You know, the world is coming to the end is nigh type people that have been around since the dawn of time. So they were kind of playing into that a bit of oh yeah, you put stuff in the atmosphere and then it's going to burn us, and then sure enough the rain starts and it starts stinging all the folks that are dancing in the cemetery. So they all rush to the car, and it actually burns through it's a convertible. So it actually burns to the top and stuff. But the important thing is all the rain from the fumes of this go into the graveyard and starts animating the corpses. And then that's where things go bonkers. Tina, in the meantime, goes off from the party. She goes to the warehouse to find Freddy, and she encounters goes down to the basement, falls through the steps, and she encounters the corpse that's down there, and it's the one that's all tarred and stuff. You've seen it. You've bound to seen it in 100 clips. You know what I mean? This thing has been clipped to death, and it's all like brains. You know, what makes these? Why I like these zombies is that they're actually thinking and feeling and talking, and it gives them a bit of something about them. It's like the Deadites and Evil Dead. You know, you've got a thinking antagonist, and it's not like why are these things going, because they're telling you they want to eat your brains, and they can actually problem solve. So they're not just shambling about, and they're not mindless. I don't like the modern zombie virus that just has running, shambling, mindless zombies. These things are running zombies, you know what I mean, depending on the state of decay they're in, and they're thinking. And that makes them more dangerous, because they're not going to just shamble along. They're actually setting traps. Tina runs from this thing. She hides in the cupboard, and she puts a bar across. It's like one of them steel lockers. So he's like thinking about starts getting a pulley chain. So rather than just shambling about doing the usual jump scare, he starts getting a pulley chain, putting it on the locker, and then cranking it to open it up. That's cool. That's like, oh crap, we can't really just hide from these things. They're actively looking and they're thinking, and that just puts a whole new edge to the game. This is like the 80s, so the zombies genre was like transformed like dramatically with this movie. But they did it in the comedic aspect. They gave the zombies characters too, so you actually feel sorry for some of them, because as things progress, they call the paramedics because Frank and Freddy fall ill, like because they breathe the gas. They call paramedics out. Paramedics basically pronounce them dead in the spot. Like, you should be dead because there's no heart, no pulse, no blood. Even their temperature is room temperature. They are like essentially shouldn't be there. They lift up their shirt and they see the blood pooling as if it's and Ernie, because he's a mortician, don't know what to call him in America, but funeral director, it's a particular qualification over here to be an embalmer and stuff. She'll have a word over there, but he's getting busy in. That's what you see in a corpse when all the blood starts falling to the bottom, gravity starts falling down and stuff. So essentially these two are dead. Then the rest of the party sort of start banging on the front door because the corpses start coming alive and assaulting them, and they're running, and all that sort of chaos ensues. So we start having the rest of the party sort of running and banging on the door of the crematorium, and like, listen outside, and they hear all the screaming and stuff. So it's done the script is actually very tight in terms of bringing everybody together. It wasn't just running each other in the street. Everything has a purpose, and people being where they are makes sense. You get them running in, and then they discover that Freddy and Frank have fallen to whatever this gas. So everyone knows what's happened. They're like, oh god, we need to put these two somewhere else. And then they're trying to account for everybody. They find out Trash has been she got caught. And we'll see her later on. She gets caught, but she doesn't really interact with the group. She just goes other places. The paramedics go out to try and get help. They get ambushed, and then we see one of the zombies using the radio as well, saying they need assistance. So that we're seeing thinking zombies, and they are setting traps. Dead Rising. I don't remember that game. I'll have to look. I wonder if we can play that online still, because they've converted most of the older games, the arcade games stuff, the either Steam or Epic. So here, I might look that one up and see if I can play it sometime. Yeah, cool. Not right, funeral directors, right? Cool. That's Universal then. But yeah, you just see us all sort of tightly woven together. Everyone has a purpose. The absolute chaos, like they're trying to shimmy up the door, but they're smashing the windows as well, and then they're collectively bashing the furniture in, so they're working out of it. They run over to the what do you call it, to the warehouse to meet Tina. Tina's like screaming that there's a zombie down there to deal with that. And it's just them to start seeing the traps being laid for, like, they called more paramedics in, the paramedics get ambushed, the police start arriving trying to cordon off this scene, they get overwhelmed, and it's just all going to pot. They realize they can't get through the emergency service, just being overwhelmed. This has just spread so rapidly, so they ring the number on the barrel, and then we'll go back to the lieutenant colonel gets woken up, and we understand that this is what he's been waiting for. He's been waiting for somebody to call that number, or waiting for a report, and this is it. And he actually tells the people, right, yes, thank you for calling. Why didn't you call before? We've got a contingency plan. Oh, one of the things have burst. Okay, and then they've got code words. Oh, right, the Easter eggs have been found. One of them's hatched. It seems like I'm racing through this, but really, it's not a complicated movie. It's a 90-minute movie. It is a fast-paced movie. It doesn't mess about. It takes you where you need to be, and pretty much that's it. We're not spending too much time in like monologues and all that kind of stuff. What we're doing is we're getting the characters there. We're getting the sense of the stakes at play. We're getting the sense of the actual the characters and how they fit in, and everyone has a purpose. There's no throwaway characters in this, which is cool. And you would think there would be, but there's the right number of friends, if that makes sense. They're the sort of right number of a group. They all have a reason for going where they're going. When Tina wants to go find her boyfriend because that's where he's meant to be working. She doesn't know he's in the crematorium because that wasn't part of the plan. So how she encounters the zombie makes sense. Everyone else running to the crematorium because that's the nearest building, while all the bodies are bursting out of the grave. Why they're in the graveyard in the first place is because they're just hanging out waiting for Freddy to finish work. Freddy finding the canisters because Frank's showing off and wants to show him something cool. He wants to impress the new boy. Fair enough, because he had asked him, what's the creepiest thing you found? Because he's realizing he's working on a, you wouldn't think it, but if you're invested in it, if you're somewhere where there's interesting things happening, or you're dealing with interesting goods and products, then it kind of makes your job about, we all have a daily grind. Even doing this sort of stuff, it makes it, oh, cool YouTuber and stuff. But there's the day I've just, waiting for a stupid delivery. So straight away your mind's like, you're having to force yourself to get on here and be carry on the stream because you can't mess people about. I've already put the stream back about 3 times. It's just showing that aspect of life that you can find like enjoyment and meaning in whatever you're doing. And if you are doing something that's a stepping stone to something else, having the right attitude of, well, what I'm doing now isn't my forte, but there's cool aspects to it, and sort of hold on that, because if not, you put your flipping head away. And it's just showing that side of humanity, and these characters are all given that aspect and showing that they're worthwhile. You're championing them. Even Trash, who doesn't really have, she doesn't have much of a character arc in terms of she's what's his face is, what do you call him? What's he? Not Chuck. Scuzz. No, is it Scuzz? It's either Scuzz or Suicide. She says boyfriend, but she has her own thing going on. It's a shame when she gets caught, but she then comes as another character as a zombie, you know what I mean? And she still plays with sensuality and stuff. All good. Where was it? Yeah, so they're on the phone, and the Colonel's like, yeah, it's okay. Where are you exactly? And then he's on the radio giving the code words, and essentially what they have is a mobile artillery piece with a nuke on it. And it's just driving around America. Like, they must have various ones in certain locations. And like, okay, you're on standby. Here's your codes, and you see the person's like waiting. The gunner's waiting for this call. Oh yes, finally, like, give me the codes. Like tactical nuke launch codes. Both, like, where was this? Kentucky or somewhere it was set, and that's it. That's the answer, right? Launch a nuke, fair enough. And then this is where it sets up for any sequels, because we know that burning them doesn't make a difference, because the stuff goes up in the atmosphere, comes back down again. So we start seeing, mushroom cloud, city wiped out. But then it causes the rain, goes to the next cemetery, and we start the process all over again. What was funny is that they use the same skeleton twice. So the skeleton comes out of a grave and it still has eyeballs. It's like, ah, and you use it twice. And you're like, okay, well, I'll forgive you that. All in all, very enjoyable. Like, this is such a fun movie. It's one of the classics. And it's one you can stick in the old DVD player, put in the stream like 100 times and not get bored of it. It's just one of them movies. If I remember rightly, Return of the Living Dead 2 is the same sort of intensity. I can't remember the third one. I think from the third one onwards, it started veering off a wee bit. But still, all in all, such a classic movie. I just wanted to do something fun for Friday the 13th. I just wanted to do a fun, enjoyable, like, this is lasagna. This is pizza. This is your, bread and butter of horror. Just, you stick this movie on, you're not disappointed. You know exactly what you're getting. It's just funny how this is meant to be a comedy, right? It's meant to be just be a throwaway, fun movie, and yet I'm seeing more depth and more characterization here than any serious modern movie. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. If it's either a testament to the love that's been, I've talked about this, the love that was put into the 80s movies, that people just wanted to make fun stuff and entertain folks, or is it just the degradation of movies today, that we've just got hack writers, that the people that are pulling the string and making movies are just making terrible stuff? Don't know. Did we hit a peak and then go down, or we're going to go back up again? Who knows? Be interesting to know what people think. But I'm going to do something for the first time here. Anyone watching on Twitch, I'm going to do a raid, because I think we'll do raid / I want you to go over to Infinite Monkey Tales. They're currently playing a game of Pulp Cthulhu. They're coming on the channel next week with Brotherhood of Dice to play the second part of the Alien game, Chariot of the Gods. If you streamed on that's a lot of fun. Those guys, a great laugh and good role players. So what I'm doing now is, hopefully it works. I'll put in the chat, raid. Does that work? Hopefully. So if you're on Twitch, because I can't do it through this. Oh, has it worked? Right, sweet. So there you go. If you're on Twitch watching, go over to their channel, check them out. They're currently playing Pulp Cthulhu. I was getting distracted as well watching them, waiting for this flipping delivery, but looks like I'm chasing up the supermarket. Yeah, there you go. I think I have to start with a. Oh, right. Okay, let's try that again. Sorry, I'm a newbie. I'm sure got my noob my noob status on Twitch. I'm still trying to figure half these platforms out. I'm trying to figure out Discord. YouTube have pretty much got sussed. Facebook have got sussed. Because of the old fart. But yeah, I'm figuring out the newfangled stuff now with Twitch and Discord and all. But a lot of these channels they're really vibrant. A lot of interactive folks. A lot of support for each other's channels. So that's fantastic. That's what we want in the creative space, not just horror, but everywhere. We get that, support each other as much as possible, and let's just enjoy entertainment in life. But there you go, folks. Hope you've enjoyed that. Great movie. If you haven't seen it, obviously you need to check this one out. It's one of the classics of horror. It's not too gory and stuff, but it's got enough shocks in that, and yeah, wee bit of messaging, but it's not beating you over the head. Try one more time with it. Hang on. God, I'm messing up. Is it with spaces? That was raid / channel name. / space channel name, right? / space. Try that one. All right, so don't put the sorry, we've now gone into the techie stuff. Funny talking about the movie. I'm just trying to get folks over to check these guys out, and I haven't done this before. / raid. Oh, right, I'm doing raid / raid space yes, I've done a thing. I've done a Twitch thing. Go me. Oh, I'm such an old fart. I really am. But there you go. Right. Actually, do you know what I'm going to do as well? I'm going to stick this just in the general, just in case the raid doesn't work. Right, everyone, bounce over to that. Bounce over to Infinite Monkey Tales. Let's watch some Pulp Cthulhu. They're in the jungle. They're losing limbs. They're getting shot at, and they're dealing with mummies. So all good fun. Great bunch of folks. And that's where I'm going now anyway to listen to the rest of the game. So there you go, folks. What am I doing tomorrow? Tomorrow I'll be on at some stage in the afternoon. I'm on Dragonlance Saga tomorrow evening. I'm doing a pre-recorded adventure on another channel, but I'll share that when the time comes. But as usual, keep up to date with the channel, do the typey clicky things, and until next time, keep it creepy, keep it horrific.